This is Brandy Cherry from Every Inch Counts, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
How would you like to be a guest on the XJ Talk Show? Do you have an interesting story about your Jeep, maybe an off-road adventure? Perhaps you're a vendor and want to get the word out about your great products. Send us an email to interviews@xjtalk.com or call and leave a voice or text message at 530-675-4102. 530-675-4102. We look forward to hearing from you.
welcome to the XJ Talk Show pre-show. We're still in the pre-show because I'm still doing things. Josh has already joined us, and you should be hearing a few things here in a minute that no grown man should probably hear.
Yeah, that would be me digesting Christmas meal still.
Exactly. I've installed a rumble filter, so you guys aren't hearing the tamales that I had yesterday. Fresh, homemade tamales made specifically for Christmas. My father-in-law made some of this green hot sauce. I don't know what's in it, but it's a creamy green sauce. It's not the little green tomatoes. It's like, I think it's got sour cream and stuff in it. It was a little pica, a little hot for me, but I ate it anyway. My sister-in-law, which I do not care for these things generally, because they're like really good egg rolls, but instead of having Chinese, whatever that stuff is that you put in Chinese egg rolls, instead of having the slaw or whatever the hell it is, and the meat and stuff, she makes it with like turkey and dressing on the inside. So it's kind of like a Thanksgiving fried roll. You know, it's just like an egg roll, but it's turkey and dressing on the inside. Well, I found yesterday, because I was kind of hungry, waiting for everybody to get there so we could, eat. I grabbed one of those things. I was going to munch on it, and I took a bite, and I said, it's good. I still wish it was a regular, Chinese tasting thing. And I thought, oh, look, there's some of that green stuff my father-in-law makes, and I got a little bit, and I dipped it in there. I ate 3 of those things. Oh, my God, it was so good with that green hot sauce. It was wonderful.
Oh, man, you're making my mouth water, and I've already had dinner.
Yep. Anyway, I'm trying to get the Amazon you bought and what information in the show notes, guys, so it'll be just a couple minutes. Should I leave it down so you could talk, Josh, or turn it back up?
Yeah, no, I can go ahead and chit-chat away during the pre-show here. We've got a couple people out there listening. I know we've got at least one viewer so far in the pre-show here on YouTube. Sure, we'll be getting more and more signing on here in just a little bit.
I wonder how many people are rubbing their bellies from Christmas.
Man, I tell you, I probably gained at least 5 or 10 pounds. I bought a massive chunk of prime rib, and I don't think I've really fully digested it all. I have eaten my weight in prime rib, dang near.
We'll be getting going here in just a minute. I guess technically we're going. We just haven't actually started the real show yet.
Yeah, I'm hard to type, mouse, and highlight and talk all at the same time. I'm trying to
digest. Don't forget, and digest.
And well, there is that. A bag of wet hair in my gut here.
If you'd leave that cat alone, you wouldn't have that problem.
Well, Tony, I got some gravy on it. I couldn't help myself.
Here, honey, let me help you with that. I mean, kitty.
Yeah. Hey, I got a link up on xjtalk.com for the show tonight. Already chit-chatting it up on YouTube.
Oh, we got comments in there?
Yeah,
yes, we do. My goodness. I wish I didn't have to scroll so far down. I guess I could just leave it down there where the comments are and consider that to be the most important thing.
No organization going on here, so I got to get another monitor. That's just all there is to it.
All the better people have more than one.
I've got 2, but it's not enough.
I'm sorry, all the better people have 3 or more.
2 or more. 2 or more.
I was thinking 3 or more, but yeah, okay. So did you read all the emails I sent you, especially the one with the compliment about how funny the last show was?
Yeah, I got that in the show notes as well. I figured we'd pay a little homage to that, and oh wow, that is a huge Amazon list. Okay. The stats I was soaking that in too. I figured we could talk about that a little more off the air tonight later.
Sure. I think we're ready. I have only glanced at the show notes, but the board's ready, and I had a last-minute voicemail that I had forgotten about because it comes in from a different source. So it's Josh's subconscious too.
Oh, shh.
So I had to get that one, together and ready to go.
Get that on the board.
Had to. It was a moral imperative. So let me close a few things. Oh, and I still need to close the closet, get rid of some of that server noise, and we can get going. And we might get going at the old 10:15 time.
Yeah.
Do a quick test here on our Skype One connection.
And did you manage to get the? You saw the opener for tonight, right?
Conference unmuted. Conference muted.
Yeah, I did. I got the opening.
Cool.
I think in the chit chat, where's the notes? Listen, the chit chat. I think I want to talk a bit about Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe I'm ready.
All right, buddy. I am too.
Got my hat on. Quickly scratch my back. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Oh, there's nothing like a good back scratch.
Have you ever had a prime rib while having your back scratched?
That sounds like a good time.
A good time had by all. Okay, so let's get her going.
And now, another message from Josh's cell.
Hey, this is Nikki G. I just wanted to
just into the XJ Talk Show news desk. FedEx and UPS woefully behind schedule as they try and keep up with the massive amounts of returns of the new Jeep Cherokee. Full report coming up right after this.
Bienvenidos al XJ Talk Show, un podcast acerca de aventuras off-road en Jeep Cherokees y entrevistas con los que manejan y mueven el mundo de las carreras off-road. Ahora, aquí están sus presentadores, Tony y Josh.
¿Dónde está Superman? I don't know what it means. I just like saying it. This is Tony. This is episode 109 of the XJ Talk Show. Here's my co-host.
I'm Josh, or Yosh sometimes, otherwise known as NW99XJ or Northwest 99XJ.
I selected our Spanish intro in honor of the tamales and these, I don't know what they're called, Josh. My wife keeps telling me, and I have no really reference and no brain power. I'm usually crunching. They're like round tortillas with sugar and cinnamon on them. So they're crunchy and sweet and fried. I mean, my God, if you could, well, I can't say it. It's a family show. It's as close to perfect as you can get.
Man, you had me at fried.
So those things were good. My mother-in-law cooked up a storm and brought a lot of things over, and we had all kinds of goodies. There was some pulled pork there. I'm not a big pulled pork fan. We had, yeah,
What?
I'm not. It's too dry. You got to put a lot of crap on it.
Oh,
I'm just not a fan.
I'm going to have to come down there and show you Texas boys how we make pulled pork up here in the Northwest.
Well, that's kind of the problem with barbecue in other parts of the country. It's pork, and that's not right. It's like a sin against nature. Yeah,
so
it's got to be
next-
beef. It's got to be beef.
Next, you're going to tell me you don't like bacon.
You could just damn well be out of a job, Josh. Well, if you guys don't know, we're here for the xjtalk.com website. It's I'm sorry, I'm acting like it's not. It's the premier Jeep Cherokee website, and not one of those bastardized 2014s either. It's for real Jeeps and real Jeepers, the kinds that go off-road. And that includes me, damn it, because I've been off-road. I put up a video. I've proved it. I've been off at least once, right?
That's right. Yeah, Tony got a little bit of a bad time. I think it was the last show. There's some YouTube responses out there, and well, we had a voicemail call in, and claim that Tony never takes his Jeep off road. And well, of course, an instant reply had to have been made, and Tony jumped right over to our YouTube channel and posted up a quick reply, a video reply of him being off road in his Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah, it was about 3 generations back of changes.
I was gonna say that video did look like it was a bit dated, because I know that you've had quite a bit of mod work done to the Jeep since then.
Yeah, that sure has been. But I think what Denver D1 said, he had never seen a picture of any mud on my Jeep, and there was definitely mud on the Jeep, and it was definitely off road. Yeah, I have not taken the Jeep off road that much. Certainly not as much as I would like to. And then of course here recently. Actually, I've been fighting running hot on the highway for the last 7 years or something. God, it's been forever. And whenever it finally got solved, I was just, you wouldn't believe how happy I was on the inside. I mean, it just,
oh yeah,
I didn't really state it, but I was like giddy as a schoolgirl, because that meant that I could drive the thing further than just going back and forth to work.
Well, recently I was talking about my motor mount issues, and before that, I could have sworn it was something in my front end. And initially I had thought it could have been my control arms, the bushings inside the control arms. I rebuilt the joints, and the noise was still kind of there. It felt like my front end was moving around underneath the Jeep. And then I started thinking, oh, geez, man, I wonder if it's a gear issue. I've heard horror stories of the preload on the backlash going out and the carrier kind of start floating around inside the diff. And I have been in there. I have messed around.
Mm-hmm.
I put in the Spartan locker about a year or so ago. And it's, although that's acting fine and great and it works and everything, I was worried that maybe I had done something wrong and it's taken this long to surface.
Yeah.
And to find out that it was, well, simply just a motor mount issue. Oh man, what a relief. I was like, well, I can do that in my sleep.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, you can price it in your head, and you know how much and you know how much time it's going to take you, so the worry's gone. And that's the whole problem with going off-road, especially if you haven't taken your Jeep off-road very much. I think I've been 3 times. Like officially off-road park. Three or 4 times, maybe. I've done one unofficially over here, illegally next to the, where I think I told you about it. It was a subdivision that never came to fruition, and a lot of the 4-wheel drives go out there, and it's usually mud. But so I've been out there before. I love it. It's fun, but you worry about, if you have a daily driver, you worry about, are you going to be able to make it to work, or are you going to be spending your Sunday fixing whatever it was that you didn't think was going to go wrong, but did. So,
and that's actually happened to me back when my Jeep was a daily driver. Something would happen, and not necessarily a trail break, but I've actually discussed it on the show before. Where driving on my way to work, and all of a sudden a U joint in the axle goes out. Something like that, and it's just these unplanned things that, now granted, will happen with time with just about any vehicle. Now, of course, taking the Jeeps off road and stuff like that, it does put a little bit of an extra strain on them. And parts may wear out a little bit faster, but again, now our XJs were designed to go off-road, and well, even with that being said, sometimes parts will break, and on a daily driver, man, out on the trail, that's just the worst feeling ever.
Well, it's to be expected too, but the thing is that, and what I was trying to articulate and not doing a very good job of it was, if you haven't gone off-road very much, you don't know what your Jeep can take. How much effort are you going to be putting into this thing to try to get to work the next day? Now, certainly these folks that have trailers or have other alternatives where they can just drag it back home in some way, or buddies that have a truck, a tow rig, and a trailer that they can drag you back and then drive something else the next day, it certainly makes a big difference. So I don't mind, and I will say there was kind of a negative comment on Facebook. One of our Facebook friends, Josh, was kind of giving Denver D1 a negative comment on Facebook, and I said there, and I want to say here, it was all in good fun. Denver D1's a great friend of the show. Love it when he calls in. He always has very funny comments on the voicemail, and we appreciate it. Don't give Denver D1 a hard time. Very much a friend of the show. Very much just being funny. So don't worry about it.
We've said time and time again that xjtalk.com, and of course here on the XJ Talk Show, is the friendliest site around. And as far as Jeep sites go, you probably don't have a friendlier place to go for information where you're not going to be ribbed or hazed or any of that stuff. Now, the kind of stuff that Denver D1 does with us, it's just like sibling rivalry. We love you, Denver, man. I just keep calling in. That's great. Don't worry about the folks that are bad mouthing you. They just don't know the backstory. Mm-hmm. And really, that love really generated back last season, about mid-season with The Walking Dead. And Tony and I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit trail with some Walking Dead talk right in the middle of a Jeep podcast here. And well, Denver called us out on it. Ever since then, there's kind of been a very kind of a behind the scenes understanding. And this relationship is kind of formed, and it's been really great. And I'd miss it if that was gone.
Yeah, and to be honest, we kind of started it with our with the whole promo thing, and made him believe that we were going to be making that a regular of the show, and really got him good. So it's a back and forth, guys. So don't worry about it. I know several of you guys like giving me a hard time about it too. So I know you're on that side of the fence. No, one saving grace is in that voicemail that Denver D1 left us was he said something positive about red Jeeps at the end. So there you go. And as we all know,
ooh, red Jeeps are sexy.
You notice how Josh's smile goes away when I play that.
Yeah, Denver's tagline. He's of course now you got that drop queued up on a moment's notice, but Denver's tagline there. He's all about keeping it red. Keep it red. So
yeah, keep it red. So tell me about your Christmas, Josh. What did you get? What did you get your Jeep?
Well, I didn't get the Jeep anything. I guess my last purchase was the throttle body spacer that I've still got around here somewhere, but it hasn't gone around anywhere. It was used. I haven't done anything with the Jeep because really my focus the last month or so has been on Christmas. I had a fundraiser that I DJ'd with an off-road group here recently. That was just spectacular. But didn't get the Jeep anything really. I did get a toy kind of for the Jeep and kind of for off-roading. I got a new GoPro Hero 3 for Christmas this year. So expect some very spectacular off-road footage coming up here the next season.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Yeah, is that the one that you can control from with your cell phone via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or something?
Yeah, well, I can get the little backpack. That's an accessory that goes with it. I didn't get the big fat granddaddy, super fat package that has all the bells and whistles. I got about the midline one of them. But honestly, it's better than my point and shoot and my crappy cell phone. So no complaints here whatsoever. I did get now it comes with a couple of different cases, and I did get a mount with it. One of those alligator clip flexi arm type of mounts that is just absolute beef. And so that's going to get hooked up to rock rails, roof rack, antenna. I don't know where the heck I'm going to put that thing. It's going to get put all over the place. So yeah, look forward to some really cool videos coming up here very soon.
I was listening to Dan on the 4x4 podcast the other day, and he had and I don't know how many shows back this was because I'm a little behind on the shows. And that's the only time you'll ever hear me say little behind. But he was doing an interview with somebody from Ram Mounts. And they have a bunch of, I wasn't aware of this until hearing this interview. They have a bunch of mounts that you can put the GoPros on. And the guy was actually talking about how in the Red Bull sponsored Big Jump from the Edge of Space, the guy in the balloon.
Yeah.
Everything in that damn capsule was ram mount. The parachute,
really?
Parachute may have been held on by a ram mount. I'm not sure, but it's and they have one on the International Space Station as well, or at least one ram mount on the IIS and our ISS, and so I'm going to have a closer look at some of these ram mount products. I had looked at one to hold a laptop in the Jeep, and it was something in the order of $200 and something bucks. So I stopped looking.
Well, that's the RAM mounts for those of you guys who don't know, RAM mounts, it's a mounting system, and you can mount a tablet to your windshield if you want. You can mount your laptop to your transmission tunnel. You can mount any sort of device to just about any sort of surface that you can possibly imagine, and have different, arms and armatures and joints and stuff like that. And the stuff is just bulletproof. It's built like a tank, solid cast steel and stuff, aluminum parts that are full billet machined out, all anodized and looking pretty. I've actually dealt with some of the ram mount equipment myself personally in some of the design work I've done for my profession, and some of their larger stuff, which is really heavy duty type of stuff. But on my motorcycle, in fact, I've got a ram mount on the tank for a GPS unit. Now that was from the previous owner, but nonetheless, it's got the the RAM on it, and it's definitely something that I'm be looking forward to getting a little GPS unit for tracking and stuff like that, and get that thing mounted up there, folks. If you don't know RAM already, and you're looking at putting something like maybe the Torque app and a little Bluetooth dongle for some real-time vehicle diagnostics out on the trail, and you want somewhere to mount your tablet or a larger smartphone or something like that, check out the RAM mount stuff. It's definitely cool, and it'll definitely have a solution for your needs.
Yep, it was very interesting. The interview I heard was very interesting. Just do I'm sure you can just do a Google search for 4x4 podcast and RAM mount interview, and you can listen to that lengthy interview. It was, like I said, very interesting, very informative.
Yep, absolutely. So speaking of informative, how was your Christmas?
It was really good. I already mentioned the food. I want to do a quick shout out to my two daughters. They got me a Doctor Who clock. I'm a Doctor Who.
That's cool. Is it
Doctor
a
Who
TARDIS
fan
shape or something? Or
no, it's a round clock, but it has. Let me see if I can grab it here real quick.
And of course, Tony is doing an exercise in some fantastic podcasting and radio there by showing us over the air what he's talking about.
Yeah, and if you guys aren't aware, we do a live video feed on YouTube when we record the podcast. So when we talk about look at this and Josh making that face and oh my gosh, Josh, put your clothes back on. We're talking about the video feed that we have. Josh is a little picture in a picture on the main display here, and if you would like to, you can see the show after it's been recorded. I mean, after it's been sent out live by going to YouTube to our youtube.com/user/xjtalk and look at it there. Be a subscriber. You'll get notified whenever there are new videos that are up. There's at least a new video every week. Sometimes more than that, like our recent incandescent versus LED, where I show the difference between some KC off-road lights and some fairly inexpensive LED light bars. So anyway,
may I interject very quickly here. To date, by far, probably one of the best side-by-side comparison videos of incandescent versus LED. So if you guys are in the market for some LED lights or you're just not quite sure, seeing that video might just push you over the edge. Yeah,
I know it can be a little nerve-wracking looking at something that's $130 and how bright is this thing going to be, and am I going to be out of money here on eBay? eBay's always scary. Just look at the seller rating, and it'll help you. And look at the lumens that they say it is. Anyway, so here's the Doctor Who clock. Boy, you can see and get an angle here, so I'm not showing the screen. But I was very happy about this. My youngest daughter got this for me, and I'm sure she did because I am a fan of Doctor Who. But I recently, probably within the last year, maybe 2 years, I mentioned Doctor Who to both my girls, and my youngest, just became a huge fan of Doctor Who and watches it a lot. She couldn't believe that it was so funny and so good.
It's got all the doctors around the
yes.
around the. Oh, okay.
And I was pointing out to him, this one sucked. This one sucked. This one wasn't so bad. This one was a good one, And she also got me something that I wanted from when this movie came out. It's the Incredibles video, but it's a high def, and the Incredibles movie was just wonderful. And I went to get a copy of it on DVD right after it came out. And they wanted $20 for the silly thing.
Oh,
and I understand, it was a very good movie, and I really wanted it, but I wasn't going to pay those stinking $20.
No, no, not for that. I mean, the way the price of the videos is coming down. I mean, Blu-rays can't be $20 a video nowadays. That's got to be some sort of extended director's cut, limited edition.
Well, that's back when they first came out. Right after the movie came out, they wanted $20 for it, and I didn't buy it. I've wanted it all this time, and here it is. Gosh, what has it been out for? It's been out 10 years or something, and here it is. Now I've got a copy of it, and it's on HD, so that's even better. And my point is, whenever you can have most anything you want, whether it be your Jeep or parts for your Jeep or whatever, and people, and I'm very hard to buy for because I get stuff all the time, and and I get the stuff that I like all the time, and I try to get my girls and my wife things that they like throughout the year, but I'm very hard to buy for. So it's wonderful when people, especially your children, buy you things, not necessarily because they're buying you something and giving it to you, but because they have paid attention to what's important to you.
Man, that's a really good feel-good moment right there.
Well, it certainly made me feel good because they've been paying attention. She knew I wanted that movie for a long time.
You get the confirmation that, you have been listening to what I've been saying this whole time. That's great. This is just some little indication that the ears are open and that you're hearing what I'm saying. Not just that you're hearing, but you're also listening.
Yep. And of course, my oldest daughter got me some Hickory Farms goodies, the summer sausage, some jalapeno cheese, and some of those Hickory Farm crackers. Now, a quick shout out. I don't know if you guys are aware of it or not, but in the xjtalk.com family, we also have a Wrangler site, wranglertalk.com. And another fun thing that I like to do is amateur radio. And we have a couple of amateur radio operators, not only on xjtalk.com and wranglertalk.com, but we have a website called didadit.com. And man, that doesn't get much nerdier than the Doctor Who clock. That's the didadit is Morse code. And you can actually, we'll have it in the show notes, but it's actually how you sound out or write out the dots and dashes from Morse code. But it's didadit.com, which is R. And whenever you're doing Morse code and you're sending messages back and forth, the first thing you do after somebody's sent you a message is you send R and then wait, R, and then R. That means I received what you sent. So that's the name of the site. The name of the site is basically R, but it's written out in Morse code. And that's 5 minutes of my life or your life that you won't get back. Anyway, the point is that recently Pre-Runner 1982 did a review on didadit.com, and also I think we played it here on xjtalk.com for this little radio. This is a gosh, I want to mess up the name. Bofang. Yeah. UV5R transceiver plus. I got one of these things. This is actually, Josh mentioned in the opener about the UPS FedEx debacle. I was one of those people that didn't get presents that I was expecting because UPS. And it was a Xbox One game that didn't come in, and this radio. And I got this radio here in this little box for my youngest son, who's he's like 26 or something now, who showed an interest in amateur radio a few years ago, probably 10 years ago. And he was spinning around on the dial listening to the HF frequencies, which is the frequencies that you can talk all around the world on. And within about 15 minutes, he came out of my room and said, what happened? I asked him, I said, what happened? He goes, I got tired of listening to it. Really? You seemed interested. He goes, well, I figured out it was just a bunch of old men.
Oh, jeez. Well, I hope he wasn't looking for a date or something, was he?
No, he was just looking for some people that were in his age range and, be able to have something to talk about that was similar. He didn't really think about the amateur radio being the thing that is similar, and that's what you talk about. So anyway, I give you guys an idea of the size of this radio. There's nothing that goes on the bottom of this. There's a battery that goes on the back of it. But this is a handy talkie. You guys that aren't savvy with amateur radio stuff would probably just call it a walkie-talkie. But this little thing puts out 5 watts. There's a little antenna that goes on here. It's only about yay long. I guess that would be like 6 or 7 inches long. And the battery goes on the back of this thing. And you can talk 30 miles easy on this, if not further. This little radio does 2 meters and 70 centimeters, so it's a dual band radio. It cost me $40.
Yeah, those things are definitely coming down in price. I think you can pick them up now for around $30-$40 or something like that.
Well, the pluses cost more. You can get one for 30 or a single bander for less, but this is the dual bander.
Okay, so it's the plus that makes it the dual band, right?
No, I think they have a U5. I'm not looking at the front of the thing.
U5R and like a U5R plus or something like that.
And I'm not sure what the plus means, but here's a picture on the cover that you can get a better idea of what it looks like overall. And Josh, I was messing with it earlier. The display changes colors, so it's purple, kind of a lavender color. Whenever you're when you just have it on and the screen's on, the LCD's on, and if you receive a signal, it turns blue, and if you talk on it, it turns red. And I'm sure that you can adjust all that stuff through the menu, but they did a lot of stuff with this little thing.
Feature packed, and from what I gather, it's not much bigger than a cell phone. As far as
it's smaller than that. Thickness wise, it's thicker, but as far as how wide and long, I'm sorry guys, it's not that kind of show. It's I'm just saying that the handy talkie is really small.
Well, folks, and this is a kind of thing that, and again, you need to have at least a technician's license from the FCC. It's a fairly easy test to get. I've been studying for a while now, off and on. I'm way behind schedule on getting my license, but with a license and one of those, you can transmit and receive signals from up on the mountain, out on the trail, somewhere where you would most likely not get cell phone reception. And certainly not be able to get out or receive much with a CB. These things will fill in that blank, so to speak, And if you're stranded or worse and need help, there's nothing better than something just like that, having it at your disposal to get the word out that you need help.
And just the 5 minutes or so that I played with it, it has you can switch it over to FM, the regular FM broadcast band, and listen to FM radio on it. So it's a great emergency radio. I mean, it really, really is. It's so small, powerful. It's got a lithium-ion battery on it. I mean, if you go over to xjtalk.com and seek out Pre-Runner 1982, or by the same name on dididit.com, you can ask him. He's had one for probably 6 months or longer. I think he is a general class amateur radio operator now. I can't remember. I think he actually got it before he got the license, which you can do. But do not make the mistake of transmitting on it. It's not like CB.
Nope.
They will hunt you down and turn you over to the FCC. You may get away with it for a while.
Hey, and you thought the IRS was bad.
Yeah, hams are that way. They really protect their spectrum, and
that's true.
They're not going to have any of that shenanigans like happened on the CB back in the 70s. So anyway, what else is going on? Anything Christmassy? Did we beat that dead horse? I didn't read through all the show notes there, and I just want to make sure we're not missing something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could go on and on about how much I did not get under the tree, but I'm going to be grateful for what I did get, and being able to spend time with family and friends, and have just a phenomenal meal. 2 meals, in fact. Christmas Eve, I cooked for the in-laws, and then Christmas was my family and friends as well. And just 2 days of presents and family and friends and really good food and conversation, just good times all around, man. It's been one heck of a Christmas season.
Well, I hope that all you guys, even the ones that had to work, I hope that you were able to enjoy your Christmas, whether it be at the regular time that we all get to, or afterwards, or even coming up this weekend. I was talking to a lady at work today and found out that their grandkids were not available for Christmas, so they're not actually having Christmas until Saturday. So,
hey, at least you get to have it. That's the important part.
Yeah, I mean, she was okay with it, and I don't know about you, Josh, but I kind of have a low after Christmas because there's a build up to it, and then it's there, and then it's over. So, I mean, they kind of get to experience it twice. They get the rise up. Here's the 25th, and they ain't doing nothing. They're not working, so they're just relaxing, and then here comes the weekend, and they get to celebrate it. So, not such a bad deal, I think.
No, sounds good.
xjtalk.com is where you go when you're not off-road. And now you can go to xjtalk.com when you're off-road too. Using your smartphone, install the Tap a Talk app, then search for XJ Talk. Take XJ Talk with you wherever you go. Jury duty, dinner with your spouse's parents, even, anywhere you need your XJ Talk fix.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
First Week in Jeep.
Well, Tony and I kind of went over what we got for Christmas. What did you get for Christmas? Did you get a new Jeep? I bet not. But if you came from the loins of the Terminator, I bet you did. TMZ has reported that Arnold Schwarzenegger has gifted his illegitimate love child, Joseph Buena, a brand new Jeep for Christmas. That's right. The 66-year-old actor traveled up to Bakersfield and personally delivered the 16-year-old a brand spanking new 2014 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. The kid is said to be ecstatic about his new Jeep. Well, of course he is. Come on now. Now, who wouldn't be stoked about getting a brand spanking new top-of-the-line Wrangler personally delivered by Arnie himself? And even though he doesn't have a driver's license yet, and I'm talking about the kid, not Arnold, he tried to sneak it out secretly to take it out for a spin, but was caught by his mother, Mildred, who quickly put a stop to it. Well, just goes to show, even if you're a spoiled brat, you can still try and get away and have some fun. Now, here's a feel-good story of perseverance and survival. A quadriplegic man struggled miles through the snow last week after his Jeep got stuck and left him stranded in the snow-covered Colorado mountains. Matt Jeepin. Hey, I'm going to go with Jeepin. Why not? 32. He's 32 years old, was traveling Wednesday to Sylvan State Park to take a photo for a calendar he gives his mother each Christmas. The roads up there are really narrow, so in order to maintain progress and momentum, he went off the road into the mountainside and got completely stuck in the deep snow pockets. Now, Matt, now stranded in the wilderness alone, could not attain a cell phone signal and decided to spend the night in his Jeep. Matt said, "I didn't think I could walk out of there, and I was just like, well, I'm at the mercy of chance, so please, somebody come and by and find me." It was really scary. It was freezing cold. He says he had to limit how much he used the heater in a Jeep. He only had a half a tank of gas at the time, and in case the worst were to happen, he wanted to make sure he could use it to warm up only when it was absolutely necessary. So after a frigid night in the Jeep and in an attempt to stay warm, Matt decided to try and dig his way out. Tried to dig out his Jeep Wrangler, but after failing to get it freed from the snow, the paralyzed man who still has some feeling left in some of his limbs, set out into the snowy wilderness to seek help. That's right, guys. A paraplegic, after trying to free his Jeep by digging it out himself, only having partial means of use of all of his limbs, went out into the wilderness in a snowy mountain to try and find help. He says, "My left side is pretty strong. I take one step with my left foot, push the wheelchair along like a walker, and drag my right foot behind, and I could maybe go about 10 or 20 paces. Now, crawling at times, Jeepin finally found a cold oasis in a park building more than 4 hours later. He then proceeded to break its window and dial 911 for help. But despite the experience, Jeepin says he won't hesitate to go back again. This time, however, he'll be sure to tell someone before embarking on the journey." Now, that just goes to show you guys, that's just an amazing, amazing story of perseverance. I mean, just the will to survive, the will to live alone can overcome something like paralysis, at least to a certain extent. I mean, he still had, his use of his some of his limbs, at least somewhat, and just enough to kind of get him pushed around a little bit. Obviously, it wasn't enough to dig his way out of a snowbank, but nonetheless, he was saved, he was rescued, and he's still alive today, and he's still going to be Jeepin'. So, Jeepin', good for Jeepin'. Now, guys, I'd like to roll right into a Jeep tips, and it's kind of an impromptu here, and just have a brief discussion really quick about snow wheeling and trips like the one we heard in the story just a minute ago. Now the guy in this last story was extremely lucky, and of course, after the fact, he realized he went completely unprepared. Now, luckily, he didn't lose his life, but dozens of adventurous and off-road enthusiasts do lose their lives every year. The bottom line, we'll just take a trip from our friends over at Warn, people who make those awesome winches, whose slogan sums it up in just 2 words: go prepared. Now, if you're planning a winter adventure, and let's face it, 'tis the season. Now, down in the Tony's neck of the woods in Texas, you probably don't have a whole lot of snow. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, and pretty much, most of us above the, mid-plane of the United States, we're all seeing a little bit of snow and ice and, cold temperatures nonetheless. If you're planning a kind of a winter adventure and there's a chance you're going to be in some snow, here's some helpful advice I want to give you guys that, if nothing else, will help keep you alive and potentially get you home. Now, one that's very important, guys, never go alone. Now, the guy we heard in the story just a minute ago, he went alone. And luckily, he had enough wherewithal to really make it through. And if he was maybe a couple years later down the road and his paralysis had really set in, who knows? He might not have made it out alive. And if maybe he didn't have the kind of instincts that he did, maybe not have come across that building, there's a chance that he would have died out there in the wilderness. It's just like swimming in open water, folks. It's best to use the buddy system here. Having another vehicle with you to aid in recovery or to get back to civilization is going to make the difference between getting out and getting out alive. And you also want to plan your trip, and I mean really plan it. Make sure you have a set plan, an itinerary, and alternates in case your path out becomes blocked. All too often, an avalanche or a downed tree can spoil your exit plan. Make sure your maps are up to date, and be sure to check weather patterns and forecasts. You don't want to end up getting stuck in a whiteout, end up having to spend this night out on the mountain just because you weren't watching the weather forecast. Now, you got to tell a friend. Better yet, tell 2. Just like Matt up in the story just a minute ago, he didn't tell anybody. When you go out, you definitely want to let at least one person know. Better yet, tell a couple. Letting someone know where you're going and when will make sure that if you don't come back when you're supposed to, that help will be sent. Now, make sure you talk with the person or persons and let them know of all potential side routes that you might take. Make sure you let them know your vehicle make, model, and color, even most importantly, and the license plate numbers, as well as a buffer time. And what that means is if you're due back by, say, 5 o'clock p.m., but a recovery, you get a buddy get stuck, or you yourself get stuck, and you guys need to, some help out, well, getting yourself winched out of that ditch or whatever takes you past that deadline, that the help is not sent when it's not necessarily needed. Usually about 2 hours is about average. So you should be back by 5 o'clock, but if you don't hear from me by 7, send help, that sort of thing. Now, in the case that, something else happens and both vehicles break down, or you don't heed my advice and you go out alone, something like that, there's a device that you absolutely must carry with you, and it's called a SPOT, S-P-O-T. It doesn't stand for anything, but it's a satellite GPS messenger device and provides a vital line of communication with friends and family when you want it and emergency assistance when you need it. It uses 100% satellite technology. SPOT works virtually anywhere in the world, even where cell phones don't reach, all with the push of a button. SOS, help, check-in, and tracking features, plus a lot more, all built in and all at the press of a single button. Have one of these on hand. They're relatively inexpensive, and they could save your life, which makes them invaluable. Now, as I said earlier, those two special words, go prepared. Make sure you have all your available recovery gear. A winch could make all the difference in the world. So checking your winch, if you've got one, before your trip to make sure it's in good working order, could save your life, or more importantly, somebody else's. You want to pack extra recovery gear as well. A come-along can act as an emergency alternative to a winch in case yours fails. Now, bring plenty of rope. Rope can help you out as far as, tying down a branch, moving a branch, even making yourself, a bit of a shelter. Ropes can come in handy for a lot of reasons. Tow straps as well, and lots of D-rings. A snatch block will be an invaluable tool if you end up in a position where a straight line recovery is not an option. Chains are not essential, but if you know you're going to be in icy conditions, it might be a good idea to have a set with you. You want to carry some flares as well. These are not only good for marking your location in low visibility, but are also great for starting fires if you need to. Now, of course, a more compact fire starter kit would be better. If you don't like the idea of flares, they make a good backup if nothing else. I highly recommend you guys pick up one of these as well. They're called a FRED, F-R-E-D, a flashing roadside emergency disc. Now, they're available on Amazon right now for just under $13, so just over $12, like $12.11 or something like that. F-R-E-D, flashing roadside emergency disc. Guys, these things are so cheap, you should have at least 2 or 3 of them in your rig at any time. FREDs are extremely bright. They run up to like 38 hours of runtime. They're shatterproof and rainproof. Having a couple FREDs on hand will help, and I'm not talking about your buddies here, will help direct a rescue mission to your location a lot easier if placed down the way from a fork in the road or up on the edge of a trail that you may have found yourself falling down from. You want to bring provisions as well, at least enough provisions for 2 days and at least 1 gallon of water. You can't stay alive without food and water, folks, and this amount can be rationed out for a week or more if need be, and doesn't take up a lot of room either. You want to dress warm. More importantly, dress appropriately. Don't wear jeans and tennis shoes for a snow run. You guys may have to hike out, worst case scenario, and clothes like that will get you nowhere but frostbitten and hypothermic. It would also be a good idea to bring an extra set of socks, gloves, and a hat just in case your first set gets wet. They don't take up a lot of room as well, and all this stuff can be thrown in a backpack if nothing else. Have yourself a little bit of a bug-out bag and you'll be good to go. Extra gas will ensure that your rig is going to stay running in case you have to spend the night as well, and it's always a good idea to have a first aid kit on board. Now, when we're talking about actually going out into the snow and doing some wheeling, snow wheeling is a lot of fun, guys. It is an absolute blast. And for those of you who live down in the southern states, man, you're missing out. But one of the most important things that a lot of people miss out on in wheeling altogether, but also more importantly, when snow wheeling, is they don't air down. You have to air down, folks. This increases your tire's footprint and really helps keep you on top of the snow versus sinking in it. And those who have never driven on snow or experienced snow wheeling probably can't really relate to what I'm talking about here. But trust me, this is a very critical operation when you're going out wheeling. Now, staying on roads and trails is very important. This not only makes it easier to find you if you get lost or stranded, but also guarantees you an easier and safer trip in and out. Getting off the beaten path can get you stuck, stranded, or broken, none of which is good in the snow. Keep momentum, but be safe. High speeds in snow is never a good idea. That fun, fluffy white blanket can hide obstacles or hazards that can ruin your day or your ride. Maintain momentum to carry you through some of the deeper stuff, but, you don't want to go too fast, and you definitely don't want to go too slow. If you end up in a snowdrift and you can't make your way forward or backwards, well, you're going to be screwed. You also want to make sure that you're not going so fast you can't you can't maneuver an emergency. You find a stick, a log, something, you see it last minute, you're going too fast, well, something bad could potentially happen. Now, it's a good idea to stay in the rush. If the trail's already been blazed, stay in those ruts. Stay in the ruts of the vehicle that's in front of you, or for the the ruts that are in the trail if they've already been blazed there. You may get bounced around a little bit, kind of that pinball action going back and forth, but the already compacted snow in the ruts will help keep you from getting stuck when in a group, from getting stuck. Now, when you're in a group, the most capable rig should always be in the front, with the least capable rig being second to last. A good capable rig in the rear will make recovery a lot lesser. Recovery of a lesser equipped rig a lot easier. And here's my final thoughts, folks. Communication is key on all of this stuff, both between rigs as well as back home. Going out and playing in the snow and out in the wilderness is a lot of fun, but make sure that somebody is going to know where you're at, where you're going, and when you're supposed to be back. CBs are essential, especially for inter-vehicle communication, and a fully charged cell phone may help with a recovery if you get stranded. And if you have a license, get a portable ham radio, just like the one that Tony was talking about and showing us a little bit ago. It can be your one and only lifeline in case the worst were to happen. Always go prepared for anything. It's better to be over-prepared than to find yourself lacking the one thing that can get you out or save your life. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst, and you'll always make it out alive.
Yeah, and if you don't, you damn sure were well prepared. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, that's the thing that hit me when you were talking about that story was don't go alone. I guess we all make those mistakes from time to time, but the other thing that hit me was I don't know how much gas he started with, but having half a tank, I'm going, this is like two strikes, man. You go out by yourself and you got half a tank when you get stuck. Well, I mean, you got off the trail and then you only have half a tank of gas in sub-zero or sub-freezing conditions. So, it never really dawned on me. I've lived my entire life in Southeast Texas. It wasn't until I was talking to a coworker a number of years ago now, where he was talking about during wintertime up in Wisconsin, where he was from, you don't leave the house with like less than half a tank or something. And I'm like, why? He says, well, you could slide off and get stuck, and you wind up having to spend the night in your vehicle. And if you can't run the engine, you're going to freeze. Yeah. And I'm like, holy crap, that makes sense. I never thought about it. I mean,
it's amazing how just, an ounce of common sense can really go a long, long way in saving your life and making sure that you're not only going to have a good time, but that you're going to get back and be able to tell the stories about it.
Well, I mean, you could lose some toes. Your life might not be in danger, but you may not be wearing sandals anytime soon after your adventure going out in sub-freezing temperatures and sandals.
I mean, it's all too easy to lose a finger, folks. I'm just
well, that was from shop, though. Well, that's great information, and also too, a little extra ham information. The handheld that I was showing is really for line of sight communications, an HF radio, and even just a 102-inch whip mounted on your vehicle with an antenna tuner with an HF amateur radio connected to it would allow you to talk potentially anywhere in the world from anywhere in the world. And that's one of the reasons why I have one in my rig is if I get stuck someplace, I can call for help. Hell, I can call for help for somebody in Italy, and they can get on Skype or just landline and call somebody in the States for me. That'd be a hell of a call, but it'd be kind of hard to explain to the authorities, but it doesn't matter. They would eventually get there to help me. I mean, could you imagine this guy with an Italian accent? Hey, I'm talking to a guy, 5 miles from you, and he needs some help. It doesn't matter though if you get the help.
Right. And that's what's important, folks. Now, around here, where I live and where I wheel, we've got repeater stations all over the place. So it's easy to hit, repeater and be able to get out from one of those. I know I'm talking a little bit over some of your guys' heads and don't understand this, and I only understand half of it myself. I'm still in the midst of studying and learning all this stuff myself. But recently, one of the guys in my Naxtra crew was out doing some exploring himself. By himself. And he ended up getting stuck in what was previously a puddle that he had driven over that was iced over. And when he came back, I think that his vehicle had fractured the ice and he ended up getting stuck in this puddle. and he was able to chop away some of the ice and get himself maneuvered a little bit in a slightly better position to where he could get a winch line up and get himself out of that position. But in doing so, the winch fried. Just pulling the winch out and going to spool out, one of the solenoids ended up exploding, and he was left stranded basically where he sat in this ice puddle with no winch, no means of recovery other than trying to dig his way out, which wasn't going to work in his position. And all his only lifeline was the Freds that he had on board and his ham radio. He hiked up a hill about 100 yards, managed to hit a repeater, and managed to get a guy on the phone to send out another relay, and managed to get a call out for help. And sheriff's department came and some friends came and they got him pulled out, and he made it. Now he was well equipped, although he was very well prepared. He shouldn't have been out by himself. That being said, he could have stayed several days up there. He had plenty of gas, plenty of provisions. And all kinds of survival gear as well. If it wasn't for his radio, though, he probably would have spent the better part of 3 or 4 days up there, which would have been no fun at all. But at least he was able to get a call out for help and got himself recovered.
Yeah, I think the key here is to have multiple options because something can fail. A multitude, several things in a row can fail, but the likelihood of them all failing is small. And that way you get out, and hopefully you get out on all in one piece and no little black bits hanging off your body.
Yeah, or the Jeep.
Hey, do you want me to do this, or do you want to do the Facebook review that we got? You do it.
Okay, I'll take it.
You do it.
Folks, normally we go through reviews that come in from iTunes, and of course we love hearing your guys' voicemails and all the other stuff. We haven't gotten very many Facebook reviews, and of course XJ Talk Show is on Facebook. Make sure you guys head over there and make sure you guys like us and friend us and all that good stuff. But a guy named Nick G, Nick Giordano, I don't even know his last name. Anyways, he says, last week's show, episode 108, had me in tears. I had listened to it twice to catch all the stuff I missed while laughing so hard. Merry Christmas, XJ Talk. So big thanks to Nick there for spending some time and giving us a stellar review. Glad you had a good time listening to episode 108. If you guys missed that show, please head over to xjtalkshow.com. Check out episode 108. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I remember. It was like last week or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Amazon.com and the XJ Talk Show present You Bought What?
All right, guys. Well, you've heard it before, and for those who haven't, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update as far as what's going on here. Tony and I and the XJ Talk Show and xjtalk.com, we have a great little relationship going on with Amazon.com. How this works is, you guys head over to one of our two sites, xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com. You click on the Amazon banner there on the homepage. It takes you straight over to Amazon. You can do all your online shopping right then and there. You're not going to spend a single dime, not a red penny more for anything you purchase, but Amazon has agreed to give us a little bit of a kickback off of each one of your purchases. Now, we don't get to see who's buying what. All we get to see is what's been purchased. And we get a little, something out of it all. And we get up a great list of all these neat items that we see that you guys have been buying. And sometimes you guys throw us a very interesting curveball, and sometimes we get some really cool stuff, and sometimes we get some high dollar stuff too. It all helps keep the website running, the lights on over here at XJ Talk Show. And we really appreciate all the help. You guys have been doing a fantastic job over the last couple of months getting ready for the holiday season. We don't want you guys to stop. So keep telling a friend, tell your family members, head over to XJ Talk Show, head over to xjtalk.com, click on the Amazon banner, and keep doing your online shopping that way.
So what we have is a little contest here where if Josh messes up and uses the past tense of bought, which all of us that have ever been to high school know there is no difference in the present and past tense of bought, but Josh has got a little excited at times and used the word boughten. So at any time that we're reading these items from Amazon that have been purchased by you, and Josh messes up and says boughten, you need to be the first caller. And Josh, you got that number? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I sure do, guys. The live call-in line, and get a pencil and pen ready. You're going to need this. We don't have the high-tech phone screener device people and all that kind of stuff that the fancy FM radio stations do. So you guys got to call this number. Area code 507-0240. And it's going to ask you to enter in a code. That code is going to hook you up straight to us. That code is 219835. So those numbers again are 267-507-0240, and that code 219835. Now that's going to get you into to talk to us. If you hear me say that word, button, you're going to need to call that number, enter in that code, and if you're the first caller and you have the phrase that pays, which is, I need more butter on my roll, please. Again, that phrase that pays, I need more butter on my roll, please. You call in, your first caller with that phrase that pays, and we're going to go ahead and give you, a gift, an Amazon gift card, good for the value of the price of the item that I screw up on. And Tony has threatened that if I end up screwing up on a price on something that's, well, more than 2 digits long, I'm going to end up having to come out of pocket myself.
Yeah, it's and I think that this serves to make him more nervous and have him.
I'm already nervous.
Say the word anyway. So, anyway, we'll get going here in a second, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Now, I will mention, if you're confused because you're listening to the podcast, yes, you are correct. You cannot win because you're not watching the live show. Oh, aren't we the devils? Because there's the rub where we try to get you to come join us on the live show. Because if you join us on the live show, then you have a chance to win the contest. See how it works, boys and girls.
Yeah. Now, come on, you guys. You got a YouTube app on your smartphone. It's really easy to join us in on the live shows every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central Time. And we do this about every other week or so, give or take. And sometimes we may go a few weeks. But rest assured, we this is a regular segment to the show. We love doing this, and we have a lot of fun with it. So without further ado, Tony, should we just dive into some of these items here that are on the list?
Absolutely. Now, I like this one because it shows that you can be any age and be getting stuff, saving stuff on Amazon.com. It's a boys Rock Baby 3-piece jacket set with hooded jacket, fleece pant. Oh, red. And
hey.
So there's an infant out there that got something nice, and I bet you that was a Christmas present. I think that's one of those items that were purchased earlier in the month. That was only $14.99 at Amazon.com.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, there's a couple books here that I saw that I've got to pay a little bit of tribute to because, this is just kind of something that's in my wheelhouse a little bit. There's 2 books here. One's called In the Cockpit 2, Inside History-Making Aircraft of World War II, and the other one is Distribution System Modeling and Analysis, 3rd edition. Now, I love aircraft. Flight simulators, especially World War II airplanes, just something about them is just so cool. And of course, distribution system modeling, well, that's electronics. It just screams electronics, and that's definitely in my wheelhouse as well. 2 items that I think is very cool.
Here's a tough LED lights, 2x4 inch round. Okay, I don't know how it's round, oval, I guess. I could buy into 27 watt LED work lamp light. I don't know why they call them work lamps.
I never understood that either, but a lot of these off-road LED lights are being called work lights, and it's weird because they're definitely not work lights.
Oh my God! Could you imagine the spots that you would see if you were trying to use some of these things to work on? I mean, I guess if you set them up on a tripod 27 feet from where you are, it might be a work light.
I was going to say you'd have to have them up on a pole or something.
But anyway, this is and I lost my place. Work light, 1,550 lumens. So not really, really bright. I'm looking at the 7 inches I had were 4,500 lumens. So, but anyway, these were $50.23 from Amazon.com.
Now, here's a relatively inexpensive item, and I see these things all over the place out here in my area. These are the XJ Euro Oval Jeep Cherokee bumper stickers. And so it's going to be that white oval. It's a European style of sticker, and it has just the letters XJ on it. And I see them all over the place. It's only $2.35 on Amazon.com. That would have made a great stocking stuffer.
Oh, here's something really handy, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not. This is a SanDisk Connect 16 gigabyte wireless flash drive. And I didn't research this one, but I believe what they're talking about here is it gives your device not only the 16 gigabytes of storage, but also allows it to communicate wirelessly through that card. So you can actually do Wi-Fi through that little SD card, or I'm not sure if that said SD or not, but it's a it says the model number is SD, so it probably is a little SD memory card, but it has the Wi-Fi built into it, so it gives you Wi-Fi and additional memory. That probably explains the price. It's $46.99 from Amazon.com.
Man, I love technology. That is just cool stuff right there. Now, we've told you guys that you've thrown us some curveballs. If you go back and you listen to some of the previous episodes when we do this segment, we get some really off-the-wall stuff. And the first time I saw this item, I highlighted it because I was like, oh boy, here we go again. And no, folks, this isn't the butt plug, but this might go kind of towards that. But it's in the tools and hardware section, so I don't know. It's called the Curly Q Oil and Latex Paint Roller Cleaner Tool. Now, I know when I saw oil and latex, I kind of got all squirmy and everything. I'm sure my mind was in the gutter. Obviously, this thing is just for cleaning and restoring latex paint rollers or something like that. In any case, it was only $10.90, and I figured I'd go ahead and have some fun with that.
Hey, here's something you were talking about for in the sports and outdoors section, magnesium fire starter. So you can take that little thing off road. I'm sure it's a very small little deal, and you can start a fire. Only $4.39.
Now here's another one that's kind of in my wheelhouse. Mobile electronics. That's a GT Power RC flashing LED lighting kit for scale cars and trucks. Now here recently on a recent show of the XJ Talk Show, I started talking about some security stuff, and I think it's back in episode 97 or something. Don't quote me on that, but I did a whole security breakdown of stuff that you can do for your Jeep Cherokee to keep it safe and keep it in the driveway. And one of the things I was talking about was a little red flashing light. And if you pick up one of those, well, heck, it makes it look like your Jeep's got an alarm at least. This thing might be one of those. So if one of you guys out there at least might be taking some of my advice, taking the cheap way, $13.09 got them that little red flashing LED light.
Okay, this one caught my eye. It's also the Dirty Mind thing. When I first saw it, I thought it said breast silicone, but it doesn't. It says the best silicone heat resistant. You know, what's wrong? What's the deal with women? Those are probably fake. And I always say, if it doesn't change the taste, what do I care? So the best silicone heat resistant grilling barbecue glove set, great for use in kitchen handling all high temperature foods, used as a pot holder, or any protective thing. I guess you could probably even use it to put the pot on the counter with. Those things are great. You look like some bad Japanese monster with them on, you know, but they're quite nice.
Yeah, all this talk about silicone and oil and latex and everything. I am getting all squirmy over here, guys. You guys, I was thinking you guys were going to end up throwing us some more curveballs and end up with some of this more NC-17 type of stuff on this, but nonetheless, well, here's one that I saw that definitely would be something that I would have in my spice rack. It's called the Spice Labs 16-ounce Applewood smoked sea salt Yakima applewood. Obviously, this is applewood's out of Yakima. It's just up the way from where I live, about 3 or 4 hours. It says it's great on barbecue. I have absolutely no doubt that it would be. The Spice Labs 16-ounce Applewood smoked sea salt. Man, that sounds good.
Yeah, it does. I'm getting hungry. I've already eaten too, so
I know I'm going to end up having another dinner here by the time the show's over.
Okay, we got to wrap up with this one. So, and good job, Josh. You didn't screw up this week. That's amazing.
Yeah, first time I broke my losing streak.
Yeah. So anyway, this is in the grocery gourmet food. Pop Rocks Extreme Sour Candy 48. It's only $15.99. You remember Pop Rocks?
Yeah,
Pop Rocks
I haven't seen those since I was a kid.
Yeah, that's the other cool thing about Amazon. You can get candies that you don't normally see anymore. That you don't. They're very difficult to find. You can find them on Amazon and surprise your family. Introduce your kids to things that they've never tried before. Candies they've never tried before. I'm sorry, I have to be specific because of some of the other things they sell on Amazon.
Yeah, well, I just hope those things haven't been around since I was a kid. If that's old Pop Rocks candy, man, I don't know if I'd want to eat that.
Oh no, that's new stuff. I'm sure it's made in China now, though.
Yeah, exactly.
We just found out what you bought.
Oh my God, I just can't believe that made it on the list.
Well, guys, I'm sorry that Josh didn't screw up this week and we didn't give away any gift certificates from Amazon.com. But what the hell do you need more stuff for? It was Christmas yesterday, so lighten up. Send all your negative comments and stuff to Josh.
Yeah, that's care of Josh at xjtalk.com.
Or he'll also answer to Yash.
That's right. Well, guys, keep up the good work on the Amazon.com purchases. Make sure you guys are telling a friend to head over. If they're doing some online shopping, and I know you guys got some gift cards out there and going to be doing some online shopping here after the Christmas season. Get on some of those after Christmas sales. Make sure they're heading over to XJ Talk or XJ Talk Show before they do any of that online shopping and clicking on that Amazon banner. We can keep this game rolling and keep the lights on.
Hey, big announcement. We have over 300 subscribers on our YouTube channel now, Josh.
Outstanding.
Yep, I've been posting up on Facebook and Twitter asking you guys to step up and go over there and subscribe. I'm trying to talk and get to the site at the same time so I can give you an accurate count, but want to thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, just go to youtube.com/user/xjtalk and you'll get weekly notifications of you'll get notifications of any videos that we put up, and we at least have new videos every once a week, if not from this show, if something else that we do. You'll see some shenanigans that I usually get into, like what would you do, and I was a victim of hit and run. You've seen those, haven't you, Josh?
Yes, I have. Yeah, people just because you got your turn signal on, folks, doesn't mean that you can just go ahead and hop into that lane. But Tony's got a dash cam, and he's always posting up some very interesting videos. So, Tony, make sure you keep those rolling to us as well.
Yeah, I literally got hit by a Fiat, one of those little bitty red Fiats, and you can see a slight bump in the video whenever I got hit.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
well,
308, Josh. 308. That's great.
Well, keep them coming, guys, and make sure you guys are heading over to iTunes as well. If you're using iTunes or you know somebody who is, turn them onto the podcast. Make sure you guys head over to iTunes, download those, and give us a 5-star review. Leave a review comment, and you'll be sure to get it on the air.
Don't forget to join us on xjtalk.com. Become a member. Remember, we don't have any bashing, flashing. Well, there's might be some flashing, but no bashing, and any question is fair game to ask. Even a post that's 10 years old is fine to post on. We don't play none of those games, folks. We're here, there to help, and here to help you learn more and have some fun.
Yep, no such thing as a stupid question, and no such thing as an excuse for not calling our 24/7 voicemail line. That's 530-675-4102. Give that number a call. Leave us a message. You'll be sure to get on the air.
I'll be playing that for like 6 months. Okay, we're out.
All right. Well, we didn't get to that voicemail.
No, we didn't.
That's all right. I'll keep that loaded for next week.
Actually, this will be pretty cool. Let's come back in and do them.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to hang around. It's like a value add at the end of the show.
There we go.
Yeah, I saw we were running along, and I thought, hey, I can still get an hour out of this thing. And
well, you don't happen to have that the voicemail intro?
Yeah,
loaded up. Yeah, okay. I'll just play that. Roll into it.
Damn it! I wish I had the screeching noise. That's all right.
Oh, geez, yeah. You could. Well, no, I was gonna say pull it out of the intro sample, but
I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll just do it here real quick and say something. You start with something like, "Hey, what the hell? We forgot the voicemail messages," and I'll go, "Oh yeah, let's do that." Type thing.
All right.
And
hey, what the hell?
Hang on a second. And right. Pressing the button, give it about a few seconds.
All right.
Pressing the button now.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on here, Tony. Wait a minute. We forgot the voicemails. What are you doing?
Damn it. Okay, here we go. Hey, this is Tony.
And this is Josh from the XJ Talk Show. We want to thank you for calling our 24/7 voice line.
Yes, we do. Just leave your first name and your question or comment.
There's no guarantee, but we may play your message on the podcast.
Oh, and don't worry about keeping it clean. We'll take care of that.
Now it's your turn to speak at the beep.
Hey, this is Mickey G. And I bet you guys are just waiting for me to say a red Jeep joke, but it's not going to happen. Not doing it. All right, talk to you later. You guys have a good one. Bye.
And now, another message from Josh's subconscious.
Oh, boy.
I can't believe some stinker poophead tried messing with my Jeepy Weepy. I heard my baby calling me with his little chirpy poo alarm, and I had to run all crazy like outside in my nightgown. Spilled my nail polish all over my new issue of Playgirl, too. Ugh. Oh well, I'll claw their eyes out if they ever come back. And why did Denver D1 have to call in and complain about butt plugs? I hope he didn't figure out it was me who had bought it. Oh no, I bet he did and he's jealous. That bitch. I'll just have to talk about The Walking Dead some more and that'll teach him. And Tony almost outed me talking about my plug kit. I'll just have to redirect the conversation next time to his 44-inch lightning rod. Or LED bar, rather. Oh crap, I'm missing the Miss Oregon Trail beauty pageant. Oh no!
I had not listened all the way into that. I didn't know I was. I didn't know I was getting butt plugged as well.
Oh man!
I can't take it anymore. You know why fire engines are the first on the scene? Because they're red. Unless you live in places where they're yellow and green, I guess they just bring marshmallows. It felt good to get that off my chest. I'm going to have to take up smoking, because I think that'll be easier to quit. All right, guys, I'll chat you later. You have a good one. That was Nikki G, in case you haven't noticed. All right, bye.
Oh, man.
Hey, this is Nikki G. I just wanted to wish everybody a Happy New Year. And for my New Year's resolution, I am not going to make any more red Jeep jokes. And I also like to thank and welcome back Steve to Jeep Tips. I really missed the Jeep Tips. One Jeep tip I'd like to see him address is, how do I prevent other drivers from shouting profanity at me? All right, gentlemen, I'll chat at you later. You have a good one. Bye.
Well, thanks, guys, for the anonymous one and the Nikki G's. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Nikki G and anonymous. Man, you literally brought a tear to my eye. Thanks. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. Good times.
All right, guys. Have a good week. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. This same XJ Talk time, same XJ Talk channel. Oh man, yeah, I had not listened to that whole thing. That was pretty funny.
Oh man, my cheeks are hurting. Good times. Oh man, that's good times.
You know, I've actually, now that that accident happened, I think that might work out pretty good, because we were right at the hour mark, which means that if there was anybody that wanted to play the show in an hour format, it would still fit. And then if they wanted to play the additional, they could, and if not, they wouldn't. So we might actually do that in the future, where we have, when we go over, we can take a segment and add it to the end as a separate segment.
Oh, yeah. Maybe would that be one of those only on the live show type of segments, or would we tack it on to the podcast as well?
Actually, I was just thinking about the podcast, because I'm not stopping the broadcast, so it'll be all on the video.
Okay.
In addition to all this stuff that's going on now, so all the backstories, so to speak. Oh, and I didn't want to put you on the spot on the podcast. What's a wheelhouse?
Okay, so wheelhouse is like with a tugboat or a small vessel. The wheelhouse would be where the stern wheel or the wheel is a little tiny, looks like an outhouse with a steering wheel in it.
Yeah,
wheelhouse. So it's in the wheelhouse, kind of like with my.
That's where your comfort zone is, because that's where you work. Yeah, that's where you steer the boat. Because I was thinking a wheelhouse was something else. I didn't know. I just had this idea of this big round spherical building, but like a big pill. And I'm thinking there's a wheel in there, and what is that, and what is it called? And the putting on the spot thing was, I thought it might be one of those things that we say, and we don't really think about what it means. And it's like you hear it enough times, it's like, well, what is that? And of course, it was easier to ask than just to look it up, so I asked.
Yeah, and I recently heard something very interesting on a talk radio show where they had I think he was a vocal analyst or something like that, and it was talking about this survey that he has people do where you, like for instance, what would you call a large long sandwich that has lots of meats and cheeses and layers and stuff like that all stacked up on it?
Yeah, because I guess it depends on what part of the country you're in. That, right, I mean, so, that to me is a sub. Yeah.
Some people call it a sub. Some people would call it a Dagwood. Some people call it a hoagie. Some people call it a grinder. You know, and so it's these kind of things that it kind of, where you sort of lean to from your vernacular base, where it stems from. And one guy was living out in I think in Seattle and never traveled to the East Coast, but a lot of his choices for what he uses, the kind of words that he uses in his sentence structure and stuff, is very Brooklyn-like. Now, he doesn't talk with an accent, but the kind of vocabulary that he uses is indicative of somebody that comes from that area. So he may have family from there, or who knows? They didn't really go too deep into it, but just very interesting there, and that kind of the wheelhouse thing kind of sort of plays into that.
Yeah, I guess that's excuse me. I guess that's one of the good things about having people from on the show from two different geographical locations. Oh, I was chatting with a young lady last night on Facebook. I've gone back and forth with her before. XJ Talk friend. She has a Jeep Cherokee, and she contacted me on Facebook chat because she wanted to know if she could do an interview on the show. And I was like, sure, of course. And the car cover gal? No, this isn't anybody selling anything. She's just very passionate about her Jeep, and she hasn't done any modifications to it yet. And she just really, really loves her Jeep. And I think it was a little hard to get it exactly what she was telling me. She was doing the voice texting where you talk to your phone and it dictates it. So anyway, I think basically what she was telling me is that I had made comment about how much I hate the 2014 Jeep Cherokee, and the reason why isn't because Jeep's making a profit, isn't because Jeep has made something that isn't something that I like as far as what a Jeep should be. It's because it stains my love, my feeling of belonging to this fraternity of Jeep Cherokees, and because the Jeep Cherokee is it's beloved. It's a very thing that this machine that I just love because it does all these things for me, and it's just a fun thing to have. And that touched her, and that's the way she felt about her Jeep, and that's what encouraged her to come forward and say, hey, I'd like to get on there and talk about my Jeep and how I got it and what it means to me. And I thought it sounded like a great, passionate story. So we're going to be setting up an interview with her, and maybe having that for the next show. We're shooting for, I think it was, we're going to touch base on Monday, and I think we're actually going to try to record that on New Year's Day.
Oh, okay.
You were mentioning about different parts of the country. She's from Connecticut, so in the Boston area. No, I'm sorry, Connecticut. No, she's from Boston. So I asked her if she had an accent because I really like accents on the interviews. Other than Wayne's in Christchurch, because you can't understand a damn thing he says.
Well, a part of that is his connection too. I mean, 3,000 miles of cabling, and there's bound to be some degradation there.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the multiple head injuries he's gone through, and the beer,
and the beer,
and can tab 27.
Yeah.
We love Wayne. Wayne's a good guy.
Good guys.
I was telling somebody the other day, got a friend in Christchurch, New Zealand, and after talking to him on the show several times, I have learned that you could go to, other than the accent, you could go to New Zealand or East Texas and you would be surrounded by rednecks either place. And there's nothing wrong with a redneck, I guarantee you. So it's not a dig. I think it's just funny. So if you're not aware of the process, what Josh and I do a little pre-show, do a little post-show. This is the post-show where we are getting ready to do our little video promo, and we'll be wrapping up here in just a few seconds. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. I hope you're going to have a great New Year's. We will have a show next Thursday, the day after New Year's. It'll be our first 2014 show. And I said it right, man. I didn't say 2013. So
yeah, that'll be day after New Year's Day. So it'll be on the 2nd that we'll be broadcasting that.
And wish all of you guys a very good week. If you're off this week, go to hell. I mean, enjoy yourself. I'm not off.
No, neither am I.
Started a new job, so no vacation time or anything. And so I'll be working all this week. In fact, I'll be working Sunday because we're going to take all the servers and move them into an actual honest-to-goodness server rack, and I get to move my desk away from where it is. It's funny. It's a large operation, but they are they're growing, so they don't have a lot of what probably you would think is niceties, even in the cubicle environment. I'm not actually in a cube. I just have a desk up against a wall, but it's a great opportunity to do all the fun stuff technically. I mean, it all works. It all works just fine, but I get to go in there and use my many years of experience with computers to tweak it and tune it and make it more easy to maintain and add and grow. So that's the reason why I got hired on there, was because of my ability to do that. So it's kind of fun. It's almost like starting off with a stock Jeep and looking at all the things that you can do, and progressing down the road of a lift and tires and, the fun of that. And you get to do it for somebody else. So it's kind of like what I'm doing, but in the computer field. And it's not just not computers, it's networking. It's a bunch of different things having to do with IT as a whole. So instead of being segmented into some small task, small, narrowly defined task, I have a nice wide open and pretty much a free hand to do whatever the hell I want to do to make it run the way I want to make it run. That's a lot of fun. So anyway, enough about that. I know Josh, after he mentioned the repeater thing, he thought to himself, oh my God, Tony's going to go into a 20-minute dissertation about what a repeater is and how it works. I know.
Yeah, I was, figuring, oh crap, I just opened up a can of worms. I hope, we're going to end up going real long on this show.
So real quick, a repeater is a transceiver that allows you to transmit to it, and it turns around and repeats what you're transmitting at the same time that it's receiving it. So your little handy talkie, like I was showing earlier on the podcast, that's how that thing could work so well, is it goes to a repeater that might be several hundred watts and the antenna may be several hundred feet high. So you effectively only have to talk to that repeater, and then the repeater turns around and repeats what you're saying for a much wider audience. So people can be 30 miles away and hear you in beautiful FM clarity with no noise, and you can be on this little bitty inexpensive handheld radio. Cops use it, fire departments use it, lots of different services use repeaters. They've moved to trunking repeaters now, which are a little different, and even encryption, digital stuff. But that allows you to send a weak signal to basically a receiver transmitter and get a much stronger signal out. And it works in reverse too. It comes back to you real strong, so it just enhances your ability to communicate clearly at a further distance. And that's it. And now that if you understood what I was saying, you understand how simple the word repeater is. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's repeating what you're saying, repeating your transmission.
All right, sorry, I'm a little distracted here, Tony, and everybody else who's still listening. I'm just kind of finishing up our script for our video promo that Tony and I usually do at the end of the show. Typically, how we end up wrapping things up here is Tony talks, and I do my best to not ignore him while I try and come up with a script for our video promos, which I'm sure you guys have been seeing on YouTube. Make sure you guys are checking those out as well.
Yeah, we've actually got those into the ads now. So if you're watching a four-wheel drive off-road type video, you may see one of our video promos stuck at the front. Yes, we're there to irritate and inform. So that's pretty much, that should be the logo for, or the slogan for our show. We're here to irritate and inform. Anyway, I'm rolling the music because this thing went so long. You guys have a great week. Be safe. Don't do anything that gets you put in jail because you won't be able to listen to the show on the 2nd. So we'll see you next week, guys.
Happy New Year, guys.
Wave, you bastard.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Did you hear that on the show?
Yeah.
I took it out of the audio thing because I thought it might, the waving and audio thing might be like, oh, what the hell's that?